owners and big business owners all together to kind of strategize going into the holiday season with COVID. So so it's been put together. You've got enough time to enact some of these strategies. So we'll kick this off and we'll let everybody pick our brain. All right, Sonia, go ahead.
Do you want to talk about, you just hit on this, I guess, right?
Yeah,
that we do.
it's kind of these are kind of some of our services, and again, you guys will all get this presentation at the end. It's kind of some of what we do. We really dive into market research before we kick off with clients. So if somebody comes on as a client with us, we dive right in. So from competitors to branding, to building your voice, we do video creation and web development, e-commerce sites. We do email lists. We do all kinds of digital marketing stuff. We're all cohesive. You typically have anywhere from 2 to 10 people working on an account. So we pick each other's brains and we have access to a lot of resources within our company, which is fantastic. And a lot of that comes as kind of just that inter-office communication. So there's a lot of great ideas, and that's where a lot of this information is coming from, is from a place of, you know, we get insight from everybody to kind of help build the perfect successful holiday season for everybody. But we want to talk a lot about how to kind of fit all of this into your small business, because it's not always attainable for you to sign on with a major firm or put the budget in, and we understand that. And so our goal is to give you some tools and some things to look at that maybe you haven't thought about before. So if you can walk away from this presentation with even one small piece that can help boost your visibility or get you a little bit bigger ROI, or, you know, make your site more efficient, or get your, you know, social platforms a little bit more engagement, that's our goal today. So please, by all means, make sure you ask questions if they arise. We're here to answer them for you, and that's what we really like to do. So go ahead and jump to the next slide. This is our team. These are our most, and the team is a little bit more expansive. We're growing really fast, which is fantastic. A ton of great information from a lot of different people. President and Vice President are Matt and Eric. And then over there on the right, you'll see all of our main digital and in-office content managers, web dev, research. Most of us have been with the company for quite a while. And again, it is growing, and we're always adding new, like, amazing skill sets that we didn't even know that we needed. So it's a great team. Most of us are located on the East Coast, but Sonia is located in California. I'm in Colorado. And then everyone else is around the New Jersey, New York area. These are just a couple of our big ongoing projects. We've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline, and some of these we do small projects for, so we just do video campaigns. We'll do one-off newsletter, e-newsletters. We'll do video ad slots. We also do that. Sometimes we do big pushes for holiday, Black Friday campaigns that are very short-lived, so 3 to 4 weeks. And then some of these come back to us, so we don't actually manage their social, we don't actually manage their website content, but they come to us for individual programs, individual campaigns we put together for them. So it's always moving, it's always changing. One big one that we do have that's ongoing with us continually right now, United Brain Association. They are actually they fund research programs that look into curing brain disorders and diseases. So that one we've had since the beginning. Breakthrough M2 we've had for quite some time. They're starting to really pick up momentum. And then you've got a lot of more local brands and businesses to the East Coast area. And some of these are international. Obviously, you see Dollar General there, Marshall and Sterling is a big one, the American Cancer Society. But these are some of the big ones that really stand out and that we've had an ongoing relationship with for a long time.
Okay, I'm gonna take over from Autumn, and we're gonna jump right in with how COVID is affecting this holiday season. It's what's on everybody's mind. It's why you signed up to join us this afternoon. So how is COVID going to affect my business? We're gonna talk a little bit about how to navigate in a retail setting, as well as if you're running a nonprofit or if you have a service industry. We're not just going to focus on retail. So, but first we're going to talk about how consumers feel like they're going to spend themselves. Nearly 40% of consumers think that they're going to decrease their spending this holiday season. But it is notable that 40% are going to decrease, 39% here, but 11% are going to increase, and 29% are going to stay about the same. So when you're talking to an individual, it looks like there's not going to be a whole lot of changes in most of the population where you have this reliable 40%, like 80% of the population you can count on what they're saying here. There's 22% of the population that are unsure. So this is the area of concern when you're talking about where is it going to hit me. So the next slide goes into this is a projection from the National Retail Federation. They compile holiday data every year. For every season they did Halloween, and they were pretty on point. So from last year to this year, they were projecting a $50.04 spending decrease overall. And there's a few things, and that's per person, so $50.04 less per person. But there's a few things that are interesting here on this slide. Gift spending is this large blue section down here. That's every year people are spending the most on gifts. But this only accounts for $8.08 of this overall decrease. They're going to spend roughly the same amount of money on gifts, and they're actually going to spend more, $2.75 more per person in this green area, which is like decorations and other holiday items that aren't going to be gifted. What's going to really take a hit here this season are miscellaneous non-gift purchases. So that's $44.71 of that overall $50. So if you're in a market that you can position your product or your service as a gift, you should have a pretty strong season. It's this little thin blue non-gift purchase that's really going to feel the brunt of this decrease this season. Across all demographics, every age group is planning to do at least 50% of their holiday shopping in a digital format this year. And I'll talk in the next slide about what that means, but it's at least 60%. Even people who fall in this age group of 56 and over, from 18 and up, they're looking online this holiday season. So online here in this slide would mean a website. So your website, Amazon, Etsy, a marketplace like that, that there's 47% of people express that they have more interest in online shopping this year as opposed to last year. In-app purchases and store pickup, so like whether you pick it up at the curb or you have to physically go in, these both see an increase for the 2020 holiday season. In-store purchases are kind of ambivalent, they look like. Most people have no change in how they feel about it, but for everybody who is more interested in going into the store, there's pretty much one person that says they're less interested. And social media I thought was pretty interesting. There are fewer people interested in social media shopping this year, and I think that has to do with, reliability and information. So if you are shopping directly from Facebook, you don't necessarily know what you want to get, what you're going to get. So they want to be shopping from your website, a marketplace. And so driving them from your social media to a landing page to your website is probably the best route for you this holiday season.
Just to jump in on that, part of that too for the social media shopping is that I'm sure you've scrolled through your social media and you see a pop-up ad, right? And it's to some awesome, cool thing. It's a great deal. But what they're finding is that a lot of those that require you to click through that ad to purchase and get that special purchase price, There's a lot of scams going on. They're not verified websites. And so we're going to talk a little bit more later on about creating content and establishing your presence online so that you are a trusted site, and so that when people go to your site to purchase your products or your services, you're giving them a verified and trustworthy path to that end point of sale. And so that's there's a lot of mistrust with social media, and a lot of it comes from Facebook. Despite Facebook's efforts to really pump up the game and really turn it into a marketplace for retailers and services and stuff like that, it's just not trusted anymore. The whole dynamic about consumer trust, about user understanding and knowing where they're being sent to and who they're purchasing from, that's a huge part of that as well. So we'll talk about that a little bit further.
Okay, thanks, Autumn. So this is the COVID overview. We know there's going to be a $50 per person spending decrease for the holiday season, and most adults in the country are going to do at least 50% of their holiday shopping online. So that's going to be driven by websites and marketplaces like Etsy and Amazon, not necessarily a social media marketplace, but a retail marketplace like Amazon. And then the opportunity to do in-app and pickup purchases is also going to be an area of opportunity where people have increased interest. So we all want to be successful for the 2020 holiday season. The first step in having a successful season is defining what success is for your company. And a lot of times success looks like a specific dollar amount, a volume increase of sales over the last year. But there's a couple other things that you can think about, and we're going to talk about them. First, I'm sure everybody in this meeting has heard of a SMART goal, but I really just want to reiterate the framework of setting a goal that you can really determine if you've been successful. So a SMART goal is specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's realistic. You don't want to set something that you just simply can't reach. You want it to be challenging, but it needs to be attainable, relevant to your business, and timely. So you need to set a time frame. And for the holiday season, it's really easy. We can say the end of the year of 2020. But when you're setting these goals, think about the capacity of your business, your supply chains, your personnel, and set a goal that is reasonable and that you can measure. So you can talk about, I want to sell, I want to receive donations of a certain dollar amount, but you can also think about improving your order value. So I'm talking about, like, if you have a sale on your widget and you sell it for $10 and you get 5 customers that buy one widget, you've got sales of $50. If you get 3 customers that come and buy a widget and widget accessories for $30, you've had fewer customers, but now you're making $90 instead of that $50. So improving your order value is a great way to reach your goals this holiday season. You can reduce your overhead by, and Autumn's going to talk a little bit more about this as well, changing your approach online from a paid, like spending less on paid advertisement, pay-per-click, going into a more organic outreach towards your customers. That's another way that you can set a holiday goal, like I want to reduce my spending on social media by 25%, but still get the same revenue. Online presence and building brand awareness and having an increased, like an email list or an increased followership on social media is a great way to build brand awareness and grow your customer loyalty. Your customers want to know that you're online and that you're accessible to them. So that's a great goal to set for yourself as well this holiday season. So we got to be realistic here. It's the holidays. Everybody's going to offer a promotion, and people expect it. I'll show you on the next couple slides. We've set a goal and we want to reach it. So we have to think about a promotion that's going to help us get there. So here are the top 5 decision factors for holiday shoppers. They are interested in the price first and foremost, and availability. You can have a sale price, but if you can only buy one and you need 3 of something, then that's not they're going to go find your product somewhere else. Free shipping is huge, and it's interesting about free shipping. It works even if you set like a minimum purchase. If you have $25 in your shopping cart and you get free shipping, if you spend $35, people are going to spend the extra $10. It's going to increase your average order value, and people are going to reach for that free shipping. So it's something that you can do, maybe it's not cost effective to do free shipping on every single order. You can still offer it as an incentive and a promotion for this holiday season and increase your average order value that way. Product choices are another factor, and a hassle-free experience. We're going to talk about this a bit at the end. The user experience, it's a big one. So 6 in 10 adults will use digital coupons, and 33% of people will wait for your sale. They are expecting to be swayed by your promotions. 81% of customers really expect you to offer them something. And with going back to shipping, free shipping is more important to people than fast shipping. They will wait for your purchase, for their purchase. They will wait for your product or service. If you're going to give them free shipping, that's the most important consideration in shipping. So when considering what exactly we want to use as our promotion, demand is going to be your first one. Like, what is your most popular product? What is going to be the most popular in terms of like giftable product or service? Because we know already that gift spending is not going to decrease significantly this season. So think about what your most in demand and most giftable products are. Think about your inventory. If you have a product that you are having trouble moving, for instance, you can offer that as a free gift with a purchase. And you can do that with a minimum purchase. You can do that with any purchase. It depends on, where your profit margins are on that specific product. So you can mark those down to get them moved. You can use them as a free gift. And your profit margins here are also need to be a consideration when you think about your promotion. Like, if you're going to market your promotion, if I have my $10 widget and I'm going to spend, $200 promoting the widgets, like, am I still going to be profitable with this widget as my promotion? Like, you have to consider your spend versus your margin. So products with a higher profit margin are easier to market as a promotion because you have more wiggle room there in terms of promoting it. Take a look at your competitors, see what they're offering as promotions. You don't want to copy anybody, but they're your competitors for a reason. They have good ideas, so you can peruse them and see, like, grab inspiration from them and see what's going on in your industry. You can create a sense of urgency, a limited time. Kohl's is great about this. If you ever shop at Kohl's, they will give you a coupon that's good for like 5 days, and you can come back and spend and earn money that's good for another 5 days down the line. Like, they're really good about creating a sense of urgency around a sale. So that helps with like the timely nature of your goal, and as well as making people really excited about purchasing now instead of, I'm going to bookmark this and come back to it later. Another way you can set yourself apart from your competitors, if you do have a physical product, you can offer them free gift wrapping. You also can work in a referral program that would help with word of mouth. If you purchase this product and you refer your friend, you get a discount on your next one. So that's going to draw people to continue to come back and make repeat customers, as well as bringing in their friends. They're going to be more happy to refer their friends to your product or your company. So I'm going to hand it over to Autumn. I'm going to mute myself, and she's going to go into positioning and how to market these promotions.
All right, so for the next slide, so we're going to talk about how you should position your business online, how you should position your products to be at the forefront. There's a lot of factors at play, and a lot of this stuff can be used regardless of the holiday season. But one thing that's really important to know is right now, because of COVID and because of all of the efforts, people aren't going out, people aren't going into physical stores, they're not seeing the physical items. It's important to understand that everybody is being inundated with digital offers. So you have to really focus and find one good thing or two good things that you really, really want to set your goals and your sights on this year. So in order to do that, and you still have time, it can be a little hectic, but in order to position yourself for the very best success over the holidays this year, there are a ton of pieces that go into play in regards to your brand. So how is your website? Is your website functioning? Is it, mobile optimized? Is it an e-commerce site? Have you made your e-commerce site fluid? Or is it an easy to use experience for your users? Are you cohesive across your social platforms? A lot of people tend to think that they have to put in a ton of effort across all platforms, or that they should just focus on one. But it's really important that you dig deep into what your competitors are doing to make sure that you have all of the appropriate platforms that are applicable to your product or service or your organization. So when it comes to a visible product, if you have something to sell in that regard, something that can be gifted and that people can touch, Facebook is always going to be there. You're probably going to want Instagram. Pinterest might be a solid one for you, but that's more for clothing and beauty products. And then you can do Twitter, but Twitter's not as hefty anymore as it used to be. It's not the go-to. So for something like a product, you may want Twitter for visibility because it does impact your rankings and search engines, the more social platforms that you're on and are active on. You also wanted to consider things like LinkedIn. If you're selling coffee mugs for Christmas, you probably don't need to spend all of your efforts on LinkedIn. You want to focus on where your demographic, your target demographics are. Another great thing to help with visibility and to help ensure that your consumers are trusting is good content on your website. So, it's an age-old debate on how many blogs a site should need or a brand should need, how often, what kind of content. But having good informative material that is optimized for best SEO practices, that is also help. You can leverage on your social media platforms, and it gives people the opportunity to see that you've been here, you're established, you're giving them quality information that they want. It gives you an opportunity to humanize yourself as a brand, and demographics now are shifting. People want to know that there are people behind the brand. So humanizing yourself and your brand is really important in order to connect with your consumers. Studies show that most people want to connect on 3 touch points or more in order to take part in whatever it is that you're providing, whether it's a service, a foundation, it's an actual product. So in order for them to do that, they don't want to just see your ad on Facebook. They want to see you across platforms in a multitude of ways. And that could be direct mail. It can be a billboard. It can be a radio slot. It can be paid ads on Google. It can be a boosted post on Twitter or Facebook. So it's really important that when you dive into any campaign, and this isn't just for the holidays, but whenever you dive into a campaign, you need to really focus on what you want your impact to be for your ad. Are you following a theme? Do you have a specific trend that you're trying to focus on for the season? And so it's really important that you're cohesive across all of your channels, across every possible platform, direct mail, e-newsletter, to make sure that you're really driving and you're reminding consumers of who you are. 1 touch point is okay, 2 touch points is even better, but 3 is when you're going to start to see a really good return. Next slide. So these next few slides, this is the positioning on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat. I'm not going to go into all of these details. These are going to be available for you guys to look over when we send you this presentation after we're all done today. But it basically breaks down some really important demographics that you need to consider when you're paying for advertising on any of these social platforms. And so Facebook is the king, and Facebook still has a very, very, very solid stance and solid place in marketing. But Facebook is definitely dying. It is definitely on its way out. There have been some, less than stellar decisions that have put consumers' information at risk. They've lost a lot of consumer trust. But it is still the king when it comes to paid advertising, especially for smaller business owners, or brands that are even medium sized. It's hugely relevant to older demographics. They're people who have just started really getting into social media, but along with political climate, along with, the pandemic, there's all these current affairs that really impact what people trust, and people just don't trust Facebook anymore. The good thing about Facebook is that you can get a lot for a little. So anybody who boosts a post, it's going to benefit you at some level. So Facebook algorithms do not favor business pages. If you have a business on Facebook, they want you to pay to play. So in order to be seen and get that visibility, you're going to have a minimal boosted budget. But another good way that you can boost your visibility and engagement on social platforms like Facebook is by creating content that engages your users and your followers. And I know that can be very tricky, getting people to have conversations with you, getting people to share your posts. But that's what you need to do in order to really get the most out of your boosted content. So creating engaging, delightful, funny, that kind of content where people will interact with you, that's what you want. And that's what's going to make you really propel yourself into success. And then on top of that, we like to piggyback boosted posts, ad campaigns to really compound that visibility engagement. As far as Twitter goes, that's more of a customer service platform. But these, again, are very important things. You might cater your content a little bit more for the demographics that you're seeing on Twitter as opposed to Facebook. Same with Instagram. Instagram is a highly visual platform. Catered graphics, like created images, don't do as well. They want to, it's a great place for you to humanize your brand. Taking office, taking gorgeous shots of your products, highlighting and focusing on staff members, or, if you're a foundation, making sure that you're highlighting your people that you've supported with it, or if there's a certain disorder or disease, highlighting those people to bring awareness. Those are all great ways to do that on that platform. That's where you want to focus that. For YouTube, YouTube is a really great place for quality evergreen content. And when I say evergreen content, I mean it is material that you've created that is about your brand or business, that is informational, and you can use it and leverage it across all of your platforms. That's a great place for that, and that will help with your visibility and your rankings and for Snapchat, Snapchat is a tough one for a lot of people to get into. A lot of business owners are an older generation. They're not typically, or I'm sorry, that's a younger generation for Snapchat users. There is success there, but it takes out a really well thought out strategy and plan in order to be successful there. And there's a lot of options. You can create pictures and geotagging and all kinds of stuff. And that's great. It can just be a little bit daunting. A lot of these video social platforms can be really difficult for people to get into, especially the older that you get as a business owner. So it's really important to drill down and really focus. If that's where you're going to spend your time and effort, make sure you do it right. Make sure you research the platform and really dive in. Next slide. Pinterest is another interesting one. There is something to be said for it. Having your content on there, your evergreen content. If you write blogs, get them on there. It's minimal effort. It helps with your visibility. But Pinterest advertising is a little more difficult because it is such an aesthetic kind of platform, and there's not a lot of room for conversation. So somebody can repin your pin, or they can try out your recipe, but it's not typically the greatest spot for small businesses to really push a boosted ad or a paid advertising campaign. Next one. LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is kind of changing the face of things. It started out as B2B, and it wasn't really a big conversational platform. As our demographic of consumer shifts to a more, they want to humanize the brands. They want to know who they're purchasing things from, who they're engaging with. LinkedIn is starting to take that shift as well. And they're also seeing a younger demographic of users come to the site, which is great. It helps keep things fresh and it keeps the technology innovative. And so if you have a product or service that is directly impacts another business, that's going to probably be your best bet for any sort of boosted ads or paid advertising. If you're going to choose a platform to focus your efforts on. We have a client that they are a B2B business. Their Facebook content just doesn't really perform well, even if it's well crafted. And I can write the exact same content for LinkedIn, and it goes crazy. It absolutely takes off. People engage with it, they share it, they love it. And so we've shifted our focus from Facebook. We'll of course syndicate our posts to Facebook, but we're going to spend our efforts this holiday season really driving through on LinkedIn. So it's important to not spread yourself too thin. Spending $10 here and $20 here and $15 here may seem like a good idea, but for your best effectiveness, you're going to want to pick one or two of your really, really good platforms that are going to cater to your target audience, and that's what you're going to want to put your money towards. Positioning. So engagement. So we're going to talk a little bit about your strategy. You're going to talk, these are a couple of things that you should kind of pull out of your toolbox when you're putting together your strategy. So your engagement, a holiday gift guide is a great idea, especially if you have a very specific sort of gift or product. Like if you create travel bags for somebody who likes to travel. Putting together like a handy gift guide is a great way to add content to your website that's also going to be picked up in search engines, but it can also have direct links to your product. So it's going to drive through the funnel. You're going to bring people in because they found your gift guide. Maybe they'll purchase something. So you want to use your digital word of mouth. So a lot of people forget that brand marketing is very important. It's not just about paying for ads. It's not just about getting your content out there and paying for somebody to see it to get those point of sales, right? So what you want to do is you want to create your brand ambassadors, and you want to create a group of people who swear by your product, who go out and tell all of their friends, and you want to take care of those people because those people are the ones that are doing all the work for you and they're making you look good. So you want to use your digital word of mouth. You want to have a great user experience, which Sonya's going to explain here in a little bit. You want to make sure that it was easy, that you gave them something that they wanted and they felt good about the purchase or the experience, so they got a great deal for the holiday. They don't feel like you just fluffed up your products to make it look like they got a good deal. And you want to get your returning customers back, so offer incentives so that people will want to come back to your product and continue to be your brand ambassadors. And that's huge. People want those brand ambassadors. They can do wonders, and it's really easy for business owners and brands to forget about them because they're out there spreading the word. They're out there telling everyone how wonderful they are, but we tend to forget that they're doing all of this work for us, and we wouldn't oftentimes be in the position that we're in without them. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of them. We also want to talk about video. So video is king right now. It's the absolute #1 best way to interact and engage with your consumers. It needs to stay short and sweet, and it needs to be engaging. And so a quick Facebook Live video explaining your products to get people's interest. Something that you can post, a funny video. Humor is huge. If you can add humor into your posts, into your videos, that's fantastic. But also, again, humanizing your brand is huge right now. People want to trust you. They want to believe that you're doing great things, that you have this moral compass for your company, that you're there to take care of your people, that you have a good product, that they can trust you. And conversational marketing is taking a huge hold on social marketing right now. People want to hear from you. They want to interact with you, and they want to know that it's real people that are running this. You're not out to just take their money. The video is a great way to do that. TikTok, if you have it. I know that's very daunting for a lot of people, but TikTok videos are fantastic right now. Snapchat videos are a great way to do that, but also IGTV, so Instagram TV, Instagram stories, and Facebook stories are great for it. It increases your engagement, your visibility, it boosts you in rankings, and it also strengthens your spots in search engine rankings. And on that note, I think that, let me just look at my notes here. Yep. So I would say just pick your platforms wisely, create good content. So don't fluff up your content if it's not relevant. Don't just post for the sake of posting. Create aesthetically pleasing, engaging conversation pieces. Make sure you have good content on your website that is going to drive people there, because at the end of the day, they're one step closer to purchasing your product or signing up for your service if you get them on your website. Avoid spreading your money too thin. Focus it on where your demographics speak, and you guys should be able to come up with a good strategy. Don't overdo it. Don't bite off too much. Set, like Sonia said, set attainable goals that you can push across your platforms to get the best. All right, and I'm going to hand it back over to Sonia for user experience.
Thanks, Autumn. You've got your promotion, you've got your goals, you've got, you've picked your platforms, and you have a strategy. The way to tie this all together is your user experience. So we're going to talk about what the user experience is. So be honest with yourself and think about the last time you went to your website as a completely brand new customer. You don't know anything about your product. You don't know anything about what you offer, what your service, what your charity foundation is all about. You don't know anything. Are you able to find information? That's the big thing. People want information about your product, your service, your charity. If they have questions, how hard is it to get in contact with somebody? How easy is the purchasing process? Like, if you have a donation page, is it going to take your credit card? Is it going to take 2 years to process, and people are going to get bored and just walk away from your shopping cart? These are things that contribute to the user experience. So how important is it for you to have a clean user experience? It's really, really important. So this is information compiled by a company called Intechnic. They pulled it from various sources. They did a really in-depth research on the user experience, and they have determined that there can be a 9,900% return on investment when you talk about putting effort into your user experience. For every dollar invested in your user experience, you have the potential to get up to $100 of return in revenue. So that's huge. You can increase your conversions by 200 to 400%. And 23% of your customers that enjoy the process of going to your website, interacting with your employees and you as an owner, they're going to share that experience with people. And 8 in 10 people are willing to hit a higher price point when you talk about, I want to purchase this item and I have this option. I have option A, and their website's kind of funky and it's a hassle for me to make a purchase. Or there's website B, and this is just an amazing experience. I can see all the features, I can ask questions. Purchasing is really simple. They will pay a higher price point just to have that experience. And if you have a poor user experience, up to 70% of your customers or your donors will just abandon the shopping cart. They up to 79% will leave to find the same product in a different location. They'll honor one of your competitors that has a more pleasing user experience. And we said 23% of people will share a positive user experience. Well, 62% of people will turn around and tell people, I don't want to do business with this company because it was a hassle to do business. So they will share more frequently, whether it's word of mouth or leaving a negative review. It's more likely that people are going to do that, almost 3 times more likely. And they estimated that $62 billion is lost in just user experience by companies that aren't investing and really investigating what it feels and looks like to be a customer.
I wanted to comment too,
Sure.
that 70% of people who will abandon purchases in a poor interface. So something that you also need to consider is that when that happens, it actually impacts you on a completely different level than just missing out on a sale. So if you have somebody who goes to your e-commerce website, puts something in their cart, but your site is not navigatable or they can't enjoy the experience, or they're struggling figuring out what to do next, and they leave your product in their cart, it will impact your inventory levels, and it will make predictions, and it will pull that data that shows that your statistics and your analytics are not accurate. So it can really impact your bottom line, especially if you're in any sort of warehouse fulfillment situation where somebody has that in their cart. It can get pulled from your shelf and it can remove from your actual inventory, and it can impact your bottom line in other ways. So it's really bad having items in your e-commerce cart that can impact you in a multitude of ways. So making sure that people getting from point A to point B to get your product or service is huge. And so that should be number one. You don't ever want people to leave your website with stuff in their
Thanks, Autumn. So you have a product, you have a website, and you want to make sure you're having a great user experience. You want to start by knowing who's coming to your website. That's a user persona. So you could have a product that markets to, just one demographic really strongly, or you could have multiple personas. So if you're talking about multiple personas, you need to think about how, a single mom with an income of $40,000 is going to navigate your site as opposed to somebody else, and think about different ways that they're going to approach your brand, your website, and your products, and make sure you're speaking to all of your personas and the journeys that they're taking to get to your website. Make your website very easy to navigate. It's interesting in like service industries where you talk about like, I offer these services. You obviously will have a service page, but you can also organize it by industry. So you can see what you're doing for this industry, because somebody might want to see, well, I have this really niche market. I don't know if this company has what I need. So you can search by industry. So these are different ways that you can organize, I have a service, I service these industries. People might be looking for things differently. So you want to make it easy to navigate. Any way that somebody's going to try to look for your product or service, you want it to be findable for them. You can use search tools. A lot of places when you're talking about like information, you'll see like a little pop-up window where there's like a live chat. And that's a great way, even if you automate it with like popular questions, and if it's not something that you can answer with a bot, you can get that conversation started and get the customer's email, and then you can go back and reach out. You want to like stay on top of that, obviously, but like using things like that so people know that they can get the information and that you have it available for them. These are great tools for them. So you obviously want your contact information. You can use it on the footer. So any page on your website that somebody navigates to, they can find your contact information. That's a good way to ensure that you're accessible to customers too. You want to lead your user experience with the features, the strongest points of your business and your products and services. Just show them who you are and what you're about, so that they get excited about spending money or, creating an appointment or setting up, making a donation. They want to know what your products and services, your charity foundation is all about. You can definitely pay a company to come in and do research on your user experience and revamp your whole website. But a lot of times this is that you can make really small changes that are going to have a great impact on your bottom line. And I want to just mention really quickly that user experience, I went into a website, but this translates if you have a storefront as well. If you are doing pickups, is that a smooth transaction? Is it a hassle for them to come to the store and get their orders? Are you organized? Like, think about the user experience from end to end. So that is the user experience and how it's going to impact your holiday season. And really quickly, before I open the floor up to questions, we are going to send this slideshow to you, but we've also made a holiday marketing calendar that you can use to get started with the ideas that we've talked about today. And I just want to show you what it looks like, really quickly go over like a few features here. It's organized by week here and by day. So it's primarily for your digital strategy. So we have some your social media, and this is just to organize like what you want to post. It's not, you're not gonna, this isn't a link, but it's just to keep your, I use this myself. So I want to talk about, I used Pop-Tarts as my company for for this for the example. So maybe you want to talk about that hot chocolate charcuterie board that's been floating around social media, and you want to like feature Pop-Tarts in it on Twitter and Facebook on Monday. And then, you know, later in the week, you're going to talk about how breakfast meets top performing salespeople on LinkedIn. It's just to organize your thoughts and have a plan for your social strategy. At the bottom, this is entirely optional, but I find it useful. You can set a goal for yourself for your for sales that are driven by your social. So you can say, you know, I had a goal for $3,000. This is what I actually made, and this is what I spent on your marketing. So I boosted posts on Facebook for $250, and it will do the math for you. I've set this up for you, so it's really easy to use. So you have November and December for 2020. I've also set it up to go all the way out to the end of 2021 as a tool for you to use as a thank you for joining us today. So I'm going to open up the floor to any questions that you might have. Feel free to pick mine and Autumn's brains.
Anyone?
I'm going to end the slideshow. I can't see the chat, so I'm going to stop sharing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was
I don't
just
know if
from
there's
Erin.
anything in chat.
Erin said that she had to jump off, so.
Okay.
But if anybody doesn't have any questions, I mean, and you also have Sonia's email, and we'll be sending this out too. So if you have questions about the PowerPoint after this, you guys are more than welcome to reach out to us, and we can answer anything for you guys.
We appreciate you coming to our webinar session, and we wish you luck.
Yeah, thank you guys. And like I said, if anybody has questions, just send us an email.
Thank you guys.
All right, bye.